Here I want to tell you about my router woes here lately. I've got a NETGEAR, and you can see it's a WNDR 3700. It's a nice router, and it says I do have a good internet connection, and I covered up my wireless passwords and stuff. But if I go to a web page, like I try to visit Apple or wherever, if I try to go to a web page, it just says page is not available. And it's been quite annoying. And if you go down here, it just keeps saying resolving host, and for some reason it will not connect. I've tried resetting it to the factory settings. Yeah, watch it work now. No, there it goes. I've tried setting it back to the factory settings. We actually sent it back to NETGEAR. Matter of fact, if you look at the lights, the internet lights, which are these right here, are green, so it says it's got a good connection. These all have really good gigabit connections. That one's the 100 megabit printer I have hooked up. But everything has really good connections. You know, as far as the router is concerned, I have a good internet connection. The bad thing is when you try to go to a web page, it doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to log into the internet, and you have to go to Advanced and Setup. And Internet Setup, and then you have to click on this, either the Apply button or the Test button, and I'm guessing it just updates settings, refreshes the settings. I'm not quite sure what it does when you click those. And then once you do that, it takes it a minute and it'll work fine. The bad thing is you have to do it like every 15 minutes, which is not good. So we sent this off to back to NETGEAR under an RMA, and we got a new, of course, new refurbished router, and it's doing the exact same thing. And I would think it was something on my system, but we have my old Belkin router that this NETGEAR replaced, and it works perfect. It ran for the whole week without having one bit of problems. We connected to the internet anytime we wanted to. The reason I don't want the Belkin is it's a slower router. It doesn't have the gigabit router, and the wireless is much slower, and it doesn't have the range that this one did. So you know, we wanted a really good router. So I ended up getting and there, I reset this. Now we can see if I go to Apple now, it'll pop right up. So that's all it takes, is that resetting, doing the test on there. So it's really strange. I don't know why. So I'm going to hand my phone over. So I ended up going to Best Buy and getting I'm just going to try a different brand. Since the Belkin brand worked and the NETGEAR won't work, maybe a Linksys router will work. And I've always loved NETGEAR products. And I'm not even saying this NETGEAR is bad. There's just something with that NETGEAR and my modem and my setup that is not working right now. And I'm assuming it's not an issue with everything else because the Belkin works so good for the whole week that it was gone. So I'm going to try this one out. This is an update anyway, so it's faster, so it's even better. The Linksys, I've always liked the Linksys brand too. This one's the Linksys Smart Wi-Fi Router. It's got the new AC protocol, which is not really approved yet. You know, it's the one they're still working on. It's supposed to get approved the end of this year, I think, is what they're thinking. But it's updatable with the flash. If you re-flash the firmware when it gets approved, it'll do the new standards. But it is the AC one. Not that I have anything that uses AC, of course, right now, but it's for future guarantees, right? It also has the USB 3 port, so if you want to hook up USB drives, USB 3 flash drives, or if you want to hook up printers or anything like that, you can plug them into the USB, and it's supposed to work pretty good for that. It also says it's the smart Wi-Fi. It's got apps, tools for your mobility, for your whole home, and you can see this. It's in the C range, and they're saying for ours is really not a large house like that. I'm thinking that's like, you know, 200,000 square feet on one floor or something. We live in a 300,000 square foot home, but it's on multiple floors, and nobody really uses the upstairs anyway, so we're all down on one floor anyway. So I think we're more in this range, and we've got less than 6 devices on there, so we should be fine anyway. But it has no CD required for setup. up to an AC 900 megabit speed. That's assuming you have an AC card. You can do dual band, the 2.4 and the 5 gig bandwidth. It's A, B, G, and N backwards compatible. It's got 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, so the plug-in ports, which I take all 4 of them in here. So yeah, I'm just going to now show you what it looks like. Again, I can read the whole box if you want me to, but I don't think you really want me to read the whole box. I paid $109.99 with tax. It ended up being $116.59 with tax at Best Buy. This was the last one on the shelf, and they had it. It said it was sale price, but Amazon. I looked at Amazon and they had it for the exact same price, $109. Linksys website had it for, I think it was $139 or $149, something like that. So they were a little more expensive on the Linksys actual website. So if you open it up, first thing you got is your quick start guide. Kind of shows you what you need to do to set it all up. You've got the router itself, and I really like the looks of this router. It looks really cool. That one's nice, but it's square and kind of bulky, and it has status lights on the front, which when it's dark in here, you can see all these lights blinking. This one has no status lights on it. The lights are all on the back, just showing you activity lights for there. That can be a good and a bad thing too, because like this one, if it loses the internet connection, I can just glance over here and see if these are not green. It's probably not connected to the internet. Of course, here lately they've been green anyway, and it still hasn't been connected, so they really haven't done me any good. But you've got the quick connect button, and you have the power connector, and there's the reset switch in there. And then there's your USB 3 plug for printers, USB drives. I have a NAS drive, a network accessible storage drive anyway, so I don't really need drives to be plugged in here. But if you did, that's supposed to be pretty good from what the reviews I read. I also read that these kind of get hot on the bottom, so make sure you're not sticking them like sandwiching between pieces of paper and stuff. Make sure they're setting to where you can get air circulation around them. And you get a smart Wi-Fi router CD, and according to the box, this is documentation. So this is your manual. Instead of printing manuals, they print them on CDs, which that's pretty common. And they give you an Ethernet cable, and it looks like that's about, I don't know, 3 to 5 foot cable there. I'd have to open it to see for sure. You got an adapter here. One thing I don't like about these kind of adapters, I'll show you what I got to combat this problem if I brought it in here with me. I must not have brought it in here with me. I'll show you in a second. But this, if you've got outlets that are on a power strip, and all the outlets, all the plugs are like this lined up, you plug this in, you have to be on the end of the power strip. Most of the routers nowadays have them turned to the sideways where the plugs go like this instead of like this. So you turn it this way to plug it in, you only take up just the plug it's in. For some reason, they didn't do that. They put it on this way, so I have an extension cable, which I could have sworn I brought it in here, but I'll have to find it. I've got a little extension cable that you plug in. It's a little pigtail. It's just a little extension cable, literally that long, that you plug this into. And I'll get it in a second so you can see it. And it's probably all that's in this box. Yeah, that's all that's in this box. So I am going to go find that cable. Okay, I found my pigtail cable, and this is what I was talking about. It looks just like a regular computer plug, but it's got that on the end. So it's just a little pigtail just to extend. It's a little short extension cord. It's basically all it is. But you can see how heavy the cable is. The reason you want a really heavy cable is because some of this stuff, this probably is not one of them, but if you had a computer or something like that, a printer or something, that you didn't need a really long cable for, you could use this to extend it out and plug it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook this up, since my plugs are underneath the desk. I'm going to go under there and plug this in down there, unplug my old router just while I'm down there so I'm not having to fight with it, and then I'll show you me hooking under the cables and stuff for it. Okay, I got everything plugged in. I got the power plug here. Unplugged that and taken care of it, because you don't want to be crawling. You don't watch me crawling under a desk by any means. I've got the yellow one is the one from my cable modem, and then the other ones are just they're all different colors because I got them from different places. These are all the cables to different devices that I have. I just dropped one behind there, but it stopped. Don't slide. Okay. So what's really good is the yellow one actually came with the NETGEAR, which I like because the plug for the modems, the internet plug for the modems are almost always yellow. So why not include a yellow cable? Instead, for some reason, Linksys decided to give you a blue cable. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, so you plug the yellow one into your cable modem goes into your Ethernet one. And of course, it's going to be hard to plug in. And then I'm just going to plug these in. It really doesn't matter what order they're in. The cat's being bad, eating bags. And again, I don't have a USB drive. I don't have a need for it, so I'm not going to do anything with it. And I'm going to plug it in. And it does have a green light on the front. I'm glad it has some indicator of what's going on with it. So it does have a green light going on up front. Go with cat. Okay. And it said it detected another network. And I'm going to turn sharing on because this is a local network for just us. So I'm just going to say okay. I plugged it in and I just told the Windows that it was a home network so I can turn on sharing. Step number 4 lists the, I'm going to change all this, but it says to go to the LinksysSmartWiFi.com, which is the local network. And what I'm going to do is just follow the steps here and accepting the license. It's detecting the internet. It says it up here. I just now noticed it says what it's doing right there. Looking for updates. I don't like to install updates automatically because sometimes they release updates and it screws up things. So I would rather manually do it. I check. I'm real anal about checking for updates and stuff anyway. So I'll check once a month anyway. So I'm gonna tell it not to check it. You by all means, if you don't want to fool with it that often, then go for it. I'm going to change my ID name, my network name. And then I'm gonna.
No, I'm not watching.
We don't want you to see our ultra secret password because you might drive over here and get on our network.
You're fine.
Okay.
So can I do the rest?
Yeah, you can come up. Unless it pops up and shows it again, which it might. Confirm these settings.
If it does, I'll cut it out.
So far it's been really straightforward with setting it up. I mean, all I had to do is go to that website address they gave me on the quick sheet, and then it's done everything else. So sure, I'll create a Linksys account. Sorry it took me a minute, but I had to, of course it didn't just a second for you all, but I had to create an account. I guess I didn't have to create an account, but I created an account with the Linksys, the smart Wi-Fi server, to where they would connect and everything. There's an app center and things like that I'll probably explore a little bit, but you can see my network status is connected. I like they're very simplified. You've got this computer is connected to the router, which is connected to the internet. You can't be much more simplistic than that. It says I have 5 devices, and I have guest. I don't do the guest thing, so I'm going to turn that off. And we don't use parental controls, although I can't imagine, we have a daughter still living here at home. I can't imagine needing those anytime soon. But now that's not to say I couldn't have used them a few years ago. Yeah. But now I don't think I need that anymore. So and there's no drive in there. And I'm going to play around with. I like the idea. It does have the speed test. So I'm going to test my speed real quick and see what it says it is. And I don't pay for the super big internet, but that looks like. That's really good. That's what I was getting with my NETGEAR on the gigabit Ethernet, so that's cool. I'm happy with that. The Belkin would get it about 5 or 6 megs, is all it would get, and my upload speeds is always right at 1. So I would assume it'll probably still be at about 1. Yeah, and it was. So that's really good. Hey, if I can get the same speeds out of the NETGEAR that I was getting out of it, and it's actually stays connected, I'm happy. Now what I'm going to do, you may be wondering, or you may not be wondering, what I'm going to do with my old NETGEAR. The only problem it had was connecting to the outside network, resolving hosts, whatever it was doing and having issues with. What I'm thinking about doing is setting it up as a wireless bridge into our living room to where we extend the range of the wireless into the living room better. And I actually have a TV out there that's internet connected. Right now it's just using the Wi-Fi, and it's only, it's the slow Wi-Fi. Well, if I can do a wireless bridge using that router and have it going over a much faster wireless network here and then plugged in, actually physically wired into the TV out there, I think our Netflix experience will be much better out there too. So that's the plan that I'm going to try next. Might put that on video and you can show me either succeeding or failing, depending on how well it works out. And I'll have to do some more research on it. I know it can be done with this router, but that's something I'll have to look into. So I'm just going to play around with my settings here a little bit, and I'm glad it worked. So hopefully that helped out somebody.